Hey, it's Christina. How's it going? So, I finally got my hair done. It's been a long time coming. My roots were getting out of control. It has been since like months and months. So, I'm so grateful to finally have it done. I feel like a new person. But I'm very excited about today's video. It is something that a lot of us teachers tend to dread or get nervous about, and that is having a student that's really tough or challenging or is defiant. And I know for me, this is something I've had to face a lot in my career. And some years I've had one student or a few students that have been pretty tough. But these are some things that I have tried that have really helped me that I wanted to share with you guys today. So the first thing I try to do is I try to build a good rapport with that student. So I try to get to know them better, and I like to know some of their interests and some of the things they do well. And I really try to look at their potential, because sadly, a lot of times people haven't seen that, because they'll just see that side of them where they're acting up or they're doing things they're not supposed to. And so for me, I try to look at those positive things that they have to offer, and I try to really compliment them and try to build that confidence in them again. One thing I really like to do is I like to have a positive behavior management system in place for the whole class, including them. And I really try to push for positive. I really look for all the good things they're doing, and yeah, that really helps them a lot. One thing I really try to do is build a whole classroom community, so that way everybody feels safe and they feel respected. And that really helps with the children that are a little bit more defiant or don't want to follow directions or are used to like misbehaving. Because if the class is doing what they're supposed to do and they're being good leaders and they're trying to help each other, it just changes things. It makes things a lot better. And so I tell them that I see a lot of leaders in my class, and I'm hoping they'll step up and be a good leader. And some of those kids that are defiant are actually the ones that I'm hoping will be the good leader, or some of them around them might be the one that to actually help that defiant student. So there's a lot of things that can be done to help build a really positive classroom community. So if that challenging student starts to misbehave, I usually don't like to call them out in front of the whole class. Usually I'll do something to diffuse that situation right then, but I'm not going to just like have that talk with them right in front of everybody, because a lot of times I find the students that are misbehaving, when you give them that attention and you call them out in front of their friends, they're going to react in more of a defiant way or a way to be disrespectful. So if it's just them and I kind of just pull them to the side and talk to them for a minute, it's usually different. Usually I get a different behavior or a different attitude from them. So I always pull them to the side to talk to them. So one thing I like to do is I like to, when I pull them to the side to talk to them for a minute or have them come up to my desk, usually their peers are working on something, and I'll say, okay, how do you think things went today? Or do you think, or is there anything in at recess time you'd like to tell me about? Or I'll just like approach them with a question, and it helps a lot. It helps them to start reflecting on their behavior. Instead of me pointing things out and backing them into a corner, it's like it's a different approach that gets them to think a little bit more about it. And I feel like a lot of times it's really effective. So hopefully it helps you guys too. But instead of coming at them like, you've done this and this and this and this, they get to say some of the things maybe they could do better. I think it's really important to get the parents involved, especially if the parents are going to be really supportive. So that way you could be a unit and you'll just have a lot more support. And so what I do at the beginning of the year is I usually try to send out a positive email or a note just to set things off on the right foot. And then from there, if their child is struggling, then I'll mention that later on. And sometimes they've tried things at home that really, really help. And those are things that you could try at school. So that's really helpful. Or maybe they could do something at home to really help. Or try to be in contact with the parents so that way we could work on things together. One other thing I really like to do is I like to set up some kind of a behavior contract. And what we'll do is we'll think of one goal that week that they think like something they would like to do better at that week. And I'll call that student up and we'll decide together. And so that way they're a part of it and they feel like they're the ones that are like, they're just more involved instead of me telling them everything to do. And they will also pick a reward. And if they reach that goal by the end of the week, then I'll give them that reward. And I usually have some kind of a tracking system. And if they didn't reach that reward, then maybe we'll talk about some things that we could do to improve. And maybe we'll just change up that goal a little bit for next week or make it a little bit simpler, whatever we need to do. But it's helped so much. I've had some students that had really like a really tough time. And then when I put them on a behavior contract, I noticed that little by little, they're changing some of these things and they're just starting to be more aware of some of those bad behaviors and trying to change them into good ones. Another thing you can also do, of course, is just try to stay calm and try to keep your cool. It's really hard to do that sometimes, especially when a student's like coming at you things or really being disrespectful. So for me, if I feel like I'm getting upset or I just need to step aside for a second, then I'll just keep walking around the room or go to my desk and take care of something really quick, and then I'll go back and address the situation, especially if a student is argumentative or anything like that. And usually I'll say something and I'll just walk away, take a few deep breaths, and then when I'm ready, I'll go back and approach it. Or I'll call that student up and say, okay, so we're having this problem with this, and then we just go from there. So sometimes you just need time and you need to take a few deep breaths, because it's never good to just blow up and say stuff back to them and come at them with things when we're the adults ourselves. So, okay, those are some things that I have tried in the past that have really helped me, and I hope they help you as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.